The movie begins at a girls' boarding school, where all the girls go for their morning prayers. But Harlina is feeling very sleepy at that time, so she goes back to her room. A girl from her class, Rubiatul, finds it strange that she just walks away like that. Anyway, everyone gets busy with their own work, and Harlina falls asleep in her room. When the teacher finds out about this, she gets very angry, and as punishment for Harlina's mistake, the entire class is punished. The punishment is to clean the whole school. Rubiatul is the angriest about this. She feels that Harlina made the mistake, so why should everyone be punished? She goes to the bathroom, where Harlina and several other girls are cleaning. Seeing Harlina having fun while working makes Rubiatul even angrier. She starts speaking rudely to Harlina, saying, "You get to relax and enjoy yourself, and we have to do all the work." Ronam, who is also Harlina's roommate, steps in and tells Rubiatul that she shouldn't talk to Harlina like that. She says Harlina is new to the school and doesn't know the rules yet, but Rubiatul replies that Harlina just arrived and has already made their lives difficult. She says, "Come on, let's go. The one who made the mess should handle it herself." She even throws more mud around to make things harder for Harlina, then leaves with the others. One by one, all the girls leave Harlina alone, except Ronam, who feels sorry for her. Harlina tells Ronam that it's okay and says she can leave too if she wants, because she can manage alone. But Ronam gently shakes her head and continues working with her, and this is how their friendship grows stronger. Later, Harlina opens up to Ronam and says that living in a boarding school feels very difficult for her because she has never done this kind of work before. She was her parents' only child, and whatever she asked for was always given to her. She lived life on her own terms, which is why adjusting to the strict rules of the school is very hard for her. Eventually, they finish their work and the next day arrives. Today is parents' visiting day, and all the students' parents come to see them. Harlina's mom also arrives. Harlina tells her mom, "Mom, I don't want to stay in this boarding school. Nobody here likes me. No one takes care of me. And the worst part is, even the bed sheets here smell really bad." Hearing this, Harlina's mom starts laughing and says, "I'll bring you new bed sheets tomorrow. And you shouldn't decide to leave so quickly. At least spend one semester here. If you still can't adjust after that, I'll talk to your dad." In the middle of this conversation, Harlina notices that Rubiatul's parents are scolding her. Harlina realizes that Rubiatul is being scolded because of her, and she starts to feel bad. But Rubiatul's anger toward Harlina only grows. That night, Harlina is shown practicing her Quran recitation properly, and Ronam really likes it. Ronam says to her, "I'm going to the mosque to read the Quran. If you want to come, let's go." Harlina replies, "You go ahead. I'll come after I iron my scarf." While Harlina is ironing her scarf, Rubiatul comes into Harlina's room with her friends. Rubiatul grabs Harlina by the hair and says, "Who do you think you are? You complain to the teacher about us and think we won't say anything?" Harlina says, "I didn't complain to the teacher." But Rubiatul doesn't believe her and slaps her across the face. Then she notices that food from Harlina's home has arrived. She tastes the food and then spits it right in Harlina's face. Harlina somehow manages to break free and tries to run away. But two girls standing outside the room catch her again and shove her hard back inside. On the floor there was an iron that had fallen from Harlina's hand and was still hot. When Harlina's hand touches it, her hand gets burned. She screams loudly in pain, but Rubiatul still doesn't let her go. Instead, she picks up the iron and brings it close to Harlina's face, trying to scare her. Harlina, terrified, shoves Rubiatul away and breaks free from all the girls, then runs off. Before she can reach the mosque and tell Ronam everything, the same girl comes from behind and clamps a hand over her mouth. At that moment, Ronam also feels as if Harlina is calling out to her. But when Ronam looks back and sees no one, she assumes it was just her imagination and moves on. Meanwhile, Rubiatul and her friends drag Harlina into the washroom. The hand that had just been burned is forced into a bucket of detergent water, making the pain even worse. Then they splash cold water on her and brutally beat her. Trying to save herself, Harlina runs away again, this time so fast that she crosses the school gate. A car is coming down the road, but Harlina doesn't notice it, and the car hits her. The scene cuts. The next morning, we see Harlina's father arriving at the hospital. Harlina's condition is extremely critical. When her father sees the bruises and burn marks on her body, he furiously scolds the teachers and the principal. He says, "I sent my daughter to a boarding school to become a better person, not to be tortured." Shortly after, the ECG line on the monitor suddenly goes flat. The scene cuts again, and we are shown events from 1 week later. At the boarding school, the girls are taking down freshly washed clothes. As Ronan pulls off a bedsheet, Harlina is seen standing right behind her. Everyone is instantly shocked. Harlina doesn't look the same anymore. Her face is pale like that of a dead person. Everyone is terrified, especially the girls who have abused her. Seeing them, Harlina lets out a horrifying laugh. At that moment, Ronan rushes forward and tightly hugs Harlina. Now we're shown the teachers at the school holding a meeting about the fact that Harlina has returned. They're discussing whether they should investigate Harlina's case or not. The school principal had gone to another school and wouldn't be able to return for several days. So the coordinator tells the teachers, "I don't think we should investigate Harlina's case because it would damage our school's image. It's better to keep this matter hidden." She says that Harlina was tortured by some of the schoolgirls and that they'll just warn them inside the school. As night falls, we're shown that Ruby Atul and one of her friends are on night duty, checking the entire school. Ruby Atul and the girls start inspecting the whole building, but it's taking too much time. So Ruby Atul tells her friend that they should split up and check the school separately. Saying this, she goes to check the washrooms. Meanwhile, she hears a strange noise coming from the corridor in front of her. It's her friend. As soon as Ruby Atul walks up to her and touches her shoulder, the girl suddenly turns toward her like a ghost. Her eyes and face have completely turned black. Seeing this, Ruby Atul is terrified. She runs toward the staff room and starts knocking on the teacher's door, but the teachers don't open it. Just then, the possessed girl arrives. She grabs Ruby Atul by the throat and, in a terrifying voice, says, "This is your punishment for what you did." Suddenly, the girl's face transforms into Harlina's face and becomes even more horrifying. Hearing the noise, the teachers finally come out and see Ruby Atul being strangled in the girl's grip. They pull Ruby Atul free from her hands, but in the struggle, the possessed girl throws the teacher to the ground with all her strength. The teacher realizes that the child has been possessed by an entity. She holds the girl's head and starts reciting prayers to stop the demon. She asks another teacher who has arrived there for some water, recites prayers over it, and blows on it. Then she pours the water on the girl, which weakens the demon inside her. Before she fully calms down, the teacher asks the entity, "Who are you?" The entity replies, "I am Satan." After everything that had happened to Ruby Atul, she was completely terrified and stayed locked inside her room. Concerned about her, Ronan, her night duty partner, came to check on her along with another girl. Suddenly, Ruby Atul once again saw Harlina's terrifying face in her partner's face. She panicked, threw a pillow at them, and shouted, "Get out of here! All of you leave!" The girls couldn't understand why Ruby Atul was behaving like this. Then Ruby Atul cried, "Can't you see it? This isn't Sidi, this is Harlina, and she's come here to kill me." That night, we see Ronan at the mosque reciting the Quran. Harlina arrives there as well. Ronan feels happy to see her, but something seems very strange. The way Harlina is reciting the Quran feels unnatural, as if she doesn't actually know how to read it. Ronan ignores it and focuses on her own recitation. But after a while, Harlina's voice begins to change, slowly turning into a deep, demonic voice. Ronan finds this extremely disturbing and immediately leaves the mosque. The next day, when Ronan opens her room door, she sees Harlina wearing prayer clothes, moving in a very unnatural way. Ronan asks her, "What are you doing?" Instead of answering, Harlina looks at her and replies in a terrifying voice, "Why are you staring at me?" Ronan has no answer to that and quickly walks away. That day, the entire school duty was assigned to Ronan and Ruby Atul. Ruby Atul hasn't performed her final prayer of the day yet, so she tells Ronan, "I'm going to the mosque, wait for me outside." While waiting, Ronan notices Harlina walking strangely toward the school exit, still wearing the same clothes. Curious and worried, Ronan starts following her. At the same time, the lights inside the mosque suddenly go out. Ruby Atul feels scared, but she continues her prayer. Suddenly, the exact words she is reciting start echoing in her ears in a horrifying voice. She becomes extremely frightened but refuses to break her prayer. Then she realizes something terrifying. She has been praying in the opposite direction. She stops and starts her prayer again. But once more, she notices that everything seems normal when she stands upright. Yet the moment she begins praying, her body turns the wrong way again. Now Ruby Atul is completely terrified. She breaks her prayer and restarts it multiple times, but the voices grow louder and more intense each time. Ruby Atul now decides that she will not be afraid and continues praying to her namaz. This time, when she finishes the prayer, she feels relieved that she was praying in the correct direction. As soon as she says thanks and looks to the side, she sees Harlina's terrifying face right there. Seeing this, Rubiatul screams loudly. Ronum hears the scream and quickly comes to the mosque to check on Rubiatul, but Rubiatul is still praying. For a long time, she remains sitting in the same position. When this feels strange to Ranam, she touches Rubiatul and realizes that she is already dead, and her face has turned completely black. The next day, we are shown Rubiatul's funeral. After the funeral, when everyone gathers to begin the prayer, we once again see a demonic smile on Harlina's face. After the prayer, Rubiatul's family collects her belongings and leaves, while Ranam keeps watching. Just then, Harlina comes up to Ranam. Ranam asks her, "Where were you last night?" Harlina replies, "In my room. Where else?" Ranam accepts her answer, but her heart doesn't fully believe it. Somewhere deep down, she suspects that no one else but Harlina is behind all of this, especially since Rubiatul has died. Because of Rubiatul's death, Rubiatul's roommate asks Ranam to become her new roommate. Ranam agrees because she is now scared of Harlina as well. The scene cuts to the staff room, where a teacher tells the coordinator that they should inform Rubiatul's parents that her death was not natural. There is a specific reason behind her death that needs to be investigated. The coordinator responds that they cannot share anything outside the school unless they are completely sure about it themselves. But the teacher refuses to listen to the coordinator and says the situation has gone too far. First, Harlina was tortured in such a horrifying way, and now Rubiatul has died. In between all this, one girl even got possessed. These are not small incidents. The scene cuts, and we are shown Ronam, who had come to sleep in Siddi's room, but she couldn't fall asleep there. After a long time, she finally dozed off. But the moment she opens her eyes, she realizes that she's no longer in Siddi's room. She's in Harlina's room instead. There, she sees Harlina swinging her legs from above. The sight of her feet terrifies Ronam. In a creepy voice, Harlina asks her, "Why aren't you sleeping?" Hearing this, Ronam becomes even more scared and turns her face away. Then Harlina climbs down from the bed and walks toward Ronam's bed. Standing beside her, Harlina calls Ronam's name. But when Ronam finally looks back, something strange happens. Harlina has disappeared. Now Ronam steps outside to check on Harlina. Meanwhile, in Siddi's room, Siddi wakes up and realizes that Ronam is not there. She wakes another roommate, and the two of them go out to look for Ronam. As soon as they reach the corridor, Siddi's friend suddenly feels that Siddi has vanished from behind her. When she turns around, Siddi is really gone. Just then, an eerie voice echoes through the hallway saying, "Pray for yourself, Dilla." Dilla was the girl's name. Hearing this, she becomes terrified. When she turns back again, Harlina is standing there, staring at her with a horrifying face. The girl screams loudly and covers her eyes in fear. After a while, Ronam arrives and tries to calm her down. She then asks, "Where is Siddi?" That's when both of them realize Siddi is missing. At the same time, Siddi is outside searching for both of them. Suddenly, the terrifying Harlina appears right in front of her. Frozen with fear, Siddi runs toward the mosque. Thankfully, all the other girls are already there. At least now she is safe among them. But she noticed something strange. All the girls were reciting their prayers very rapidly, and as soon as they finished, they suddenly turned and stared at Siddi in a terrifying way. Seeing this, Siddi became frightened. At that moment, a piece of cloth flew through the air and landed on her face. Terrified, Siddi started screaming loudly. Hearing her screams, Ronam rushed there and removed the cloth from her face. Seeing everything, Dilla immediately ran to call the teacher. She knocked loudly and suddenly the door opened by itself. She tried to wake the teacher, but the teacher did not wake up. Suddenly, she sensed someone standing behind her. When she turned around, she saw Harlina, who had now turned into a ghost. She was horrified. When she looked back at the bed again, the teacher was no longer there, and the door was now closed. She turned around once more and heard Harlina's terrifying voice threatening her. Just as she was about to press herself against the wall in fear, Harlina suddenly grabbed her from behind and began choking her. Hearing her scream, the other teachers woke up and rushed to the room where the screams were coming from. When they opened the door, they found no one inside. As they moved toward the mosque, they realized that the screams were now coming from the other girls because that girl was already dead, and her entire face had turned completely gray. Ronam, who was deeply saddened by her death, noticed Harlina standing behind a pillar, laughing in a strange way. She immediately understood that Harlina was behind all of this. She quickly ran to inform the teachers. Now the teachers also realized that a great danger had arrived here. To ensure the safety of all the girls, they gathered all the girls together inside the mosque. But Harina was missing, so the senior teacher went out to look for her. The scene cuts to Harina's parents, who become extremely worried after receiving a phone call. The scene then shifts back to the girls. Sidi tells Ronam that she needs to go to the bathroom and asks if she will come along. Ronam agrees, and they head toward the restroom. Ronam waits outside while Sidi goes in. Suddenly, she sees Sidi walking in another direction. She follows her and places her hand on Sidi's shoulder. Then the real Sidi appears from behind and calls out to her. When both of them turn around, they see that it's not Sidi standing there in the Sidi's form, but Harina, who has turned into a ghost. Seeing her, both of them scream and try to run away, but Harina stops them. Hearing their screams, the teachers rush there and finally manage to catch Harina. They grab her by the hair and start reciting prayers. That's when they realize that at this moment, Harina's body does not contain her real soul, but a demon. They command the demon to leave Harina's body. Just then, Harina's parents arrive at the scene, and her mother insists on taking Harina away from there. At this point, the scene cuts to a flashback, where we see that the accident Harina had was actually caused by her mother's car. Harina's mother was on her way to deliver bed sheets. When she stepped out of the car and looked around, she thought there was just a piece of wood lying on the road. She moved it aside and continued her journey. Later, when her husband noticed scratches on the car, he realized that Harina's accident was caused by her mother. But he never told his wife the truth, because it would have completely broken her. The scene then returns to the present, where we see the demon inside Harina's body drag Harina's mother into the forest. After some time, it throws her body back out of the woods, but by then, Harina's mother's already dead. Harina also arrives there, and the teachers quickly try to restrain her, but she has become so powerful that she throws both of them aside. Gathering their courage once again, the teachers begin Harina's exorcism. Seeing her condition, her father breaks down in tears, and the scene shifts to another flashback. We are shown that Harina had actually died that day, but her father couldn't accept it. He didn't tell anyone about his only daughter's death. Instead, he went to a sorcerer and begged him to bring Harina back to life. The sorcerer recited some spells over a large iron nail, handed it to Harina's dad, and told him to drive the nail into Harina's head, and not to remove it until Harina's revenge was complete. Following his instructions, Harina's dad did exactly that. After doing all this, Harina's dad also told Harina's mom that Harina's condition was improving, so he had sent her back to boarding school. We've already seen everything that happens after she's sent there. The scene then returns to the present, where Harina's dad himself goes and pulls that nail out of Harina's head. The moment the nail is removed, all the chaos comes to a stop, and we're shown Harina's final outcome. All the girls at the boarding school are sent back to their homes, and in the end, we see Ronam, who has come to Harina's grave. In the movie's post-credits scene, we see Harina's dad alone at home. Suddenly, the same sorcerer knocks on his door and tells him, "I told you not to remove that nail until Harina's revenge was complete." This clearly means that something terrible is now about to happen to Harina's dad. And with that, the story comes to an end. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to this channel for more.